guys? Welcome back to Tommy Points. I'm not sure what episode it is, but it's brought to you by Chasing Rangers, the podcast. We did Kyle, Joe, Luke, myself, Victor. Guys, last week we had a brutal 5 to 7 game stretch coming up. We're a little more than halfway through it. We're 2-2. Let's look at it real quick. So we lost by 1 to the Lakers. Handled business against Steph Curry and the Warriors, winning by 4. Went to Sacramento, lost by 5. And then we beat the Clippers last night. We were missing Jaylen Brown. They were missing Paul George. Beat the Clips by 4. Honestly, for me, guys, I think so far through these 4 games, they've been all right. For me, the most glaring point is that Kings loss. I was looking at a few things. You know, Tremont Waters playing 23 minutes. I think he shot like 1 of 8 or something crazy like that. I think Luke and I mostly have been harping on the fact that we're playing a little too many guys. The other thing that stood out to me is we played 10 guys 10-plus minutes, and there's just no way we have an 8th, 9th, and 10th guy that's good enough, especially when you tell Marcus Smart out and Kemba's on a minutes restriction. It's like there's just no way we should have played that many guys that many minutes. And I'm starting to really get concerned with the rotation here. I don't know how you guys are feeling. Luke, I'm guessing you would agree that Kings loss is probably the worst loss. But at the same time, I mean, not handling that game against the Lakers, we felt outcoached by a coach who's not that great. So it felt really weird. Luke, what do you think? You know, 2-2, we can't be completely negative, but what's your your biggest disappointment so far in this 2-2 stretch?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the Kings loss. Like, out of all the games, like Golden State, both LAs, like that was the game we should have had, and we should have proven that we're the better team and won handedly. I mean, Sacramento's a great young team. They have a lot of good pieces. De'Aaron Fox is a stud. He's fast as lightning, but it just showed how thin we are, regardless of how many people we play. Like Halliburton, the rookie for Sacramento, dropped 21 off the bench for us. I think he almost single-handedly outscored our bench. Like, that was very, very disappointing to see. And then, you know, our high pick, Naismith, I don't even think he played a minute. So
yeah, he has been playing. There's one thing, Joe, I want to see your take on this. Robert Williams in that Kings game, clearly, in my opinion, the best big man on the floor at almost any time. And I'm talking like a center. I know what's his name? Why am I blanking on Harrison Barnes? No, I know Harrison Barnes is a good player, but he's more of like a stretch 3, stretch 4. I'm talking about big men. Robert Williams in 19 minutes was 4 for 4 with 9 points and 8 rebounds and a couple of blocks. Why is he only playing 19 minutes? We're seeing this consistently. He comes in, he plays 4 minutes, plays really well. He gets pulled out. What's going on with Brad, and why isn't he playing Robert Williams more, Joe?
Well, I definitely couldn't tell you what's going on with Brad. It's just I feel like it's sort of the same thing that we've seen before that's creeping back in now. Didn't we say he was he was starting to change it up a little bit, and now it seems like he's like holding people back a little bit more. I don't understand what the cycle is or why it is.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, Luke just brought up Naismith. I'm bringing up Robert Williams. Joe said the quote at the beginning of the year saying, Danny said we're in a developmental year. Well, in my mind, Semi Ojeleye is maybe surpassed his ceiling and overachieving. Javonte Green, we know what his ceiling is. Edwards and Waters, we'll talk about Edwards' game last night. But, like, these guys are pretty much at their ceilings. You know, maybe Edwards can improve a little bit because I love his style of play. But Robert Williams and Naismith should be, like, the focal points of development. Why the hell aren't we playing these guys more?
Yeah, it's like round and around we go, right? I mean, that's why I feel like this season is just like a roller coaster. Just real quick, I don't know if we should have had the Kings game, but we also should have lost the Clippers game. So I think those are a wash for me, where it's like, yeah, we lost one we should have won, but we also won one we shouldn't have won. So,
are you talking about last night's game?
The Clippers. I thought they had no chance.
Yeah, but like it also like last night's game was a little different. Like Edwards put in, like, it was just like his game has showed up like a couple weeks ago, but he put in like I just thought last night was different. It was like
he played 30
more
minutes
effort from the team. He was grinding hard, and then even after the game, he said something like, "Effort is the one thing I can control." So,
I wonder.
It just seemed like they pushed harder. I know that there was injuries, but still.
Since you're on that, Joe, I mean, ever since Carson Edwards came to the league last year, every time he touches the floor, he's like a little spitfire. He is nonstop, go, high energy. He can create his own shots because he's so quick, and he has such a quick release that he can catch and shoot like Steph Curry. Now, not as efficiently, but the way he can catch and release the ball is so quick, so fast. He's very effective as a player. I kind of don't understand why he's not playing more. He plays hard defense. He's stripping the ball. He gives hard fouls. I said it last year. I said at the beginning of the year that he could be in the rotation, could be in the mix, but for some reason they don't like him. It's the same story with Nesmith. Okay, he went 0 for 3 in 11 minutes, but he had a steal and he plays good closeout defense. We can't always look at how someone plays based off of statistics, but I feel like Brad does. Luke, do you think Edwards should be in the mix? I mean, it's hard because I think we're all going to put at least Kemba and Pritchard ahead of him. Jeff Teague gives us some solid consistency, but he's not a game changer. How do we get Edwards in the mix, or does he deserve to be in the mix?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, coming into the season, I thought Edwards was end of the bench after last season's disappointment. Like, I was very excited we got him. I thought he was a steal of last year's draft. And he was a big flop. To see him actually come out, hit some 3-pointers, play some big minutes, hit some clutch free throws last night in the Clippers game. Like, it was,
he hit like 3 threes in a row, right? Or something.
Yeah,
his shot looked really good last night.
He had 3 free throws to, under 4 minutes because he got fouled shooting 3. Like, he was playing game deciding minutes last night.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can be another shooter off the bench for sure. I mean, I think that's his strength. But yeah, you talked about it, Vic. Like, we have a lot of point guard depth now, as far as numbers go. Maybe not skill wise compared to other teams, but we have numbers wise. We have like 5-6 point guards now on the roster, all undersized. So it's like it's going to be hard to fit them in. And I think that's what we're seeing with Danny's rotations. Is he's trying to see what works and what doesn't. He's playing a lot of different rotations, a lot of weird minutes for different people at different times. I really think it's just like a fact-finding mission for Brad about what he still has. I don't think he knows yet.
And I'm kind of okay with that personally. Like, the experimental side of figuring out who your bench is, how to play them, when to play them. The time is now to figure that out. I mean, in most matchups, and this is a brutal stretch of 7 games, but in most matchups with Tatum and Brown and Kemba on the floor, we can win with Nesmith playing 15 minutes one game, Edwards 15 the next game, whatever it is, and kind of trial and error and see what works when and when it doesn't. Kyle, I want to ask you, so we're 2-2 through this stretch. I think Kemba missed that Kings game. Jalen's missed a game. Who do you think so far is kind of the MVP of this 4-game stretch in the last week since we last spoke?
Tatum, for sure. I mean, he single-handedly pretty much won them that game last night. And obviously they had huge performances from
Carson.
From
Carson Edwards. And Kemba hit the go-ahead shot, too. And then Tatum put the icing on the cake.
And Grant and Tristan Thompson knocked down 4 free throws, both shooting under 60% from the line.
Yeah, a couple quick things I've noticed lately. I think Jeff Teague has played himself out of that spot, and I think Carson has played himself into that. So they've kind of flip-flopped for me. Where like Jeff, I don't know what happened to Jeff Teague, but like he looks like he's like washed up now, and it's like he doesn't shoot. He's like afraid to shoot. He's not dynamic passing. It's like Carson had way more energy last night. Tice only had 9 minutes last night, which I thought was a little low for him. But I kind of like what Brad's doing in a sense, because Vic, you say like you should coach with your feelings, and it's like kind of like riding the hot hand. And I think Brad is doing that. I wish there was some consistency, but I think he is like, okay, Teague's not doing so well, so Carson is playing well. I'm going to put in Carson. I need Rob to get more minutes for sure, because I think Rob has been our most effective big. And I think Tice has been
Go ahead, Vic.
Sorry, give me one. Yeah, one. I just want to build her off of Kyle. So, Kyle, you just brought up Robert Williams, and I wanted to look at his stats to make sure I'm nice and accurate on this. So he's averaging 6 points and 6 rebounds a game, 1 steal and 1.3 blocks per game in just 15 minutes. Guys, if we are in a developmental year, this is your 23-year-old that will block shots from anywhere on the floor. He's cleaning up on rebounds. He's so athletic. He runs the floor. He strips guys. I mean, I'm sorry, but he is a potential all-defensive first team in the near future if we give him the minutes, and I don't understand why we're not. Listen, Tristan Thompson does his job. I agree. The Daniel Tice 9 minutes is kind of glaring, but Grant played well. Luke, why is he not playing 20-plus minutes, Robert Williams?
I don't know. I mean, right now he's averaging 15 minutes a game. And the glaring thing is, if you look at his player efficiency rating, like he's above Tatum. He's right there with Jalen and Tatum, which is exceptional. He is exactly what we wished he would be coming into this year. Why he's not getting the minutes, I don't know. They don't have a logjam at center anymore. They have Tice, Tristan, and Rob. Like it's perfect. I think that Brad's rotations are really screwing with it, and I would definitely want to see more minutes from him. Like he's last night he was pulling up for jumpers like without hesitation. That's incredible to see.
He is a great mid-range game. And I mean, so we look at Tristan Thompson, who I think Tristan is okay for his job. He's getting 7 more minutes per game, and he's averaging 1 point more and 2 rebounds more. Less blocks, 0.3 steals a game, half a block a game. So he's clearly not the defensive presence. He potentially is a little better under the rim with offensive rebounds, but potentially, like I can't even confidently say that. And I think Rob is a way more athletic guy.
Listen, Tristan offers a post presence that I don't think Rob fully has. So we've seen them go down low to Tristan, and it has been successful. Like he had 17 and 10 against the Kings the other night. Like he can definitely provide that, and I think he's averaging. I think the Celtics they said 5-1 when he grabs 10 or more boards. So he's also rebounding well. Is he like the center we always like? He's not Karl Anthony Towns or he's not Embiid. Like we know that going in, but he's a very good player. He does his role exactly as it's expected. He can do the pick and roll well. Like he's getting Kemba open shots, and in the mid range. Like he is exactly what we need. I just think, and I agree that Rob needs to play more minutes as well. But I mean, we have a luxury at center right now. Like Tice has been playing out of his mind up until last night. Tristan's exactly what I expected. I think maybe a little less on the defensive end than I would have wanted, but he's still putting up numbers. And Rob's has a player efficiency rating like with the 2 superstars that we have. So I don't know. I think we're in a good place at center.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to have
Luke.
I was just gonna say it's kind of funny because like they were talking about the other day where like Brad thinks that the centers are kind of like a strength in this team, and I agree. And it's like we would have never guessed that going into the season. Like that was the biggest issue. I think part of the reason why Rob isn't playing more minutes is because Tice has been so effective. So like Brad's got to balance that, and I think for the most part he's done a good job of balancing those 3. But I do agree with everything Luke said. Like Tristan's like he's just a wide dude. Like he clogs up the lane. I would like to see his minutes go down a little bit and more minutes to Rob. So I just want a little bit more balance with like Rob and Tice as the 2 guys, and then Tristan as like that 3rd option.
Personally. But why not try Rob and Tristan in the same lineup? You know what I mean? Like why not try that out? Or Tice and Rob. You know what I mean?
I just don't know if you have enough offense. Like
they already do it with Tice and Tristan.
Like, yeah, Tice is really good.
Shoot outside.
Rob was pulling up for jumpers last night.
Yeah, I just like
mid-range. That's all you need.
I just think like Kemba's a separate issue, but Kemba has had too many bad shooting games so far that's worrying me. So like when he's not going, and let's say like Jalen's out, or let's just say the Jays are playing and one of them is off and Kemba's not going, then you're looking for offense. And if you have Tristan out there, he's not really he's gonna give you like some hook shots and stuff, but he's not really gonna be like an option. So I just worry that like you don't have that 3-point threat with Tice, and he's not like a 60. He's not knocking down every 3, but he's still efficient.
I'm having deja vu. Deja vu right now. I feel like we've saying this every week. It's just that like Kemba, Jalen, and Tatum, they're our only offensive threats. Like
for starters,
we need help.
The one thing that Carson provided last night was pace and tempo, and that's one thing that we constantly talk about. I think Robert Williams provides that because he can run the floor faster than Tice and faster than Thompson, and he blocks shots and gets steals, and he keeps the tempo going. If Kemba can kind of buy into this pace and tempo and pushing the ball, I think we're going to be okay. But I want to ask you guys, the last few weeks, I mean, we missed Tatum with COVID, Kemba's on minutes restriction, and then load management. I'm so glad Jalen rested last night. 2 weeks ago when we lost to the Knicks, I was livid watching us try to force a win without Tatum, without Kemba. Oh, no, it was Kemba's first game back, but he was on minutes restriction. And Jaylen Brown is like limping up and down the floor to force a win when we're getting stomped out by the Knicks. It was a scheduled loss. We knew it was an L, and we're watching Jaylen limp up and down the court. So I'm glad that Brad gave him the night off, even before Paul George was supposed to be off. Now, if we have a fully healthy roster, guys, Marcus is back, Kemba's 30 minutes, Tatum's good, Jaylen's good. What do we think our area of need is? Because when we really look at it, we could have beat the Lakers. We had 2 shots under 5 seconds wide open that we could have hit and won that game. We should have beat the Kings. I think Brad outcoached himself. He coached himself right out of that game. We lost. And then we beat the Clippers and we beat the Warriors. And the Warriors are better than people are giving them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still in serious need of the 4th guy? Or can Brad do what he did last night? He found Edwards last night. Can he do that every game? Because I do think that the 9, 10, 11 guys, you can find one of them to be hot that game. But can we trust Brad to do it consistently? Or do we need to go get a 4th option?
You have to have a plan, though, in my opinion. Like, how can you go into big games and, not know exactly who might be the hot hand? Or, you might not know who will be the hot shooter, but, if you don't have some sort of plan, you're just sort of picking from the bench each night. How do you expect to go deep with those big teams?
Would you say that we should grab a 4th option, or do you want to continue developing those 9th, 10th, 11th guys?
It seems like we kind of have the talent to develop. It seems like it's their potential. It's just how quickly are we going to do it? If he keeps holding, Robert Williams back, and he doesn't really know who he's going to go to each night, then how can each player consistently develop, right?
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that.
We might need a 4th.
Luke, let me, basically the same question with a little spin on it. If you saw, say, Jeff Teague's minutes go down to almost nothing, if we saw Thompson split minutes like Kyle said with Robert Williams, and we then started giving more minutes to Edwards, Pritchard, Grant Williams, and Nesmith, and we made it to the 2nd round this year, but we saw those 4 guys develop and become legit players. Would you be happy with that season, or are you saying go get Harrison Barnes or whoever and let's make a run at this? Where are you at right now?
I'll comment on Jeff Teague for a second because I still am sold on Jeff Teague. I think he's been very passive shooting, which has been strange. I think there's some sort of coaching adjustment that has been whispered to him in his ear. But the ball moves better with him on the floor. He's averaging a steal a game. Even last night, he had 4 assists, and he was a +1 on the floor. In my opinion, the team plays better when he's on the floor than not. So I'm still sold on Jeff Teague. So I would still want Jeff Teague as the backup point guard. I think Pritchard makes it very tough because Pritchard's been playing exceptionally. No one saw this coming. But as far as getting another player in the mesh, I think we still need that 4th option. I think in my mind, I was looking through it last night. I would love Jay Crowder back, even though that's probably not going to happen. But Jay Crowder fits so well. You have maybe Rudy Gay out there, who I still think is a dynamic player. Even Iguodala, I think he's with the Heat right now, right? I don't know if they'd give him up, but Heat are struggling this season. Who knows? And Harrison Barnes is definitely in the mix. And then what about Batum? We just saw last night, how big would it have been to get Batum in that Hayward trade?
Let's talk about that. I mean, if Danny doesn't use that trade exception that we got from Charlotte and didn't get Nicholas Batum back, what a failure to let Hayward walk like that. Am I right?
Absolutely. Especially Hayward's playing great.
Hayward's playing great, and he wouldn't be playing this well. I know. He wouldn't have been playing this well with us because he would have been the 4th option, and, he kind of gets cannibalized. But, Kyle, should we be criticizing Danny more if he doesn't do something again at the trade deadline?
Yeah, they need to make one move, I think. I want to give Luke some credit because he said it last night in the group chat, and I 100% agree. Luke, you said Pritchard is so important, and I was like, dude, that hit the nail on the head where it's 1 game back, and I was like, it's scary how much I trust this rookie point guard because it's he him and Naismith, it's like they might always be kind of tied for me, but it's like Pritchard from the get-go has just like, to say he sees his opportunity is like an understatement. Like he grabbed his opportunity there.
The ball moves so well, like with him on the floor. It's the same thing I see with Teague, and like the difference there is that they're both like Pritchard's been pulling up more, but they both just work the ball around the court. Whereas when Kemba's on the floor, and like no disrespect to Kemba, great offensive player, but when Kemba's on the floor, it's him dribbling, it's him waiting for the pick. It's maybe one pass, like juke cut, and then he's back for the ball and trying to get a mid-range jumper or drop and get fouled. Like it's not efficient offensively, especially when you have Tatum and Brown there too. Like you just have people waiting for him to pass and then move through the lane. Like there's no rotation.
Yeah, I do miss Marcus Smart because he really, I wasn't very high on Marcus Smart going into this year. I thought he was kind of overrated, but honestly, like this year he's been phenomenal, and like he's been the main assist point guard pretty much for us, and he just has that different dynamic. And I'm getting a little frustrated watching Kemba lately because you're right, Luke. Like he's always waiting for the high pick and roll, and he's a shooter, which is fine, but he's not knocking his shots down lately. I love him at the mid range, but it's like, okay, but if you're not like looking for the alley oops, like Vic, I think you mentioned before, like they're always like Marcus Smart, I think to Tice or to whatever, like they're like one of the top duos. But Kemba's not looking for that. I don't know why. Like I think Vic, you mentioned that a couple weeks ago, and it's like he's not knocking his shots down. I love Kemba's energy. I just need his production to match that because I think he's a really good energy guy. And Vic, you mentioned Rob playing more. I think Rob brings the energy like right away. Like when he's in the game, everyone has it elevates everyone because like he's just running around. Carson last night all over the floor. I was like, dude, he gave the spark this team needed. Same thing with Pritch. And it's like, I think Kemba has that energy and that mentality, and like, his smile is infectious, but it's like, I can't have like multiple games of like 1 for 13, 1 for 14. It's like, dude, you got to make some of your shots. So like, I need more from you. Sorry.
You guys have, go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, sorry. Just last point. But they need to go get Harrison Barnes. I think they're missing a piece. If they can get either Grant or Semi, if they can get one of those guys to knock down a couple of threes, like that's the X factor. Think about Miami's run last year, dude. You mentioned Iguodala, Luke. Like it's always that extra guy that no one expects. Like Iguodala has hurt us a couple of times. Jeff Green has hurt us in the playoffs. Like, so like I think if they can get Harrison Barnes and then like you get in the playoffs and you get a Grant game or a Pritch or anyone like to just step up as that last option. 8-10 points a game. Like I think that's what they're missing is that one dynamic score with Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, now, even if you get real quick, Vic, sorry. Even if you get like CD Osman or Mike Muscala, I was looking at their stats. Like they're both very, very high proficient 3-point shooters, which would immediately help us for when Kemba's in, just spreading the floor. Like we need more shooters.
Yeah, I don't know. The Cavs are making a run. They might not be getting rid of Osman because he's been playing really well.
Did we have a chance to get Luke Kennard by any chance? He was good. He's good.
That was the Clippers? Yeah.
Did we have a chance in the past to get him, though? I feel like we did.
He was on Detroit for a while, and then he had a huge extension by the Clippers after they signed him. Like, after the first few games, he got like a 4-year extension for like $64 million or something.
Yeah, they're overpaying. They're reaching. They got to win something or they're in trouble. So I want to ask you guys, we've been playing a little too deep, way too many players. If there's one player, and just think about it generically, don't think about matchups or anything like that, one player that you want to see just not play anymore in the Celtics, who would it be?
Right now, Semi. God, I can't watch Semi throw anymore.
So you would take Grant Williams over Semi?
Yeah, they've like flip-flopped. There was a stat I saw last year, Grant Williams was over 25 to start his 3-point NBA career. He's shooting like 40% right now. Like it's kind of crazy. He's been on a hot streak. I still don't necessarily trust him in the 3, but I just think like I don't know. Semi stands in the corner and like he does the same thing, but he's not hitting like any of his shots that I'm seeing. He was like 1 for 4 last night, and I'm like, if you're not like he's not doing anything else, so I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree that Grant is more important than Semi. I still think Semi is important for this team just from a spiritual perspective and heart. Like
I know Semi's your guy, Luke.
Semi's been the longest Celtic. Dude, I liked seeing him play. I really like
Luke loves the underdog.
I do. I love Semi. But if there was one person I would not want to see play, it would be Tremont Waters. And I say that with no disrespect to Waters because I think he is a good point guard. But like we discussed earlier, we just have a logjam at guard right now, and he's another undersized guard. Like we need him and Taco to be the odd man out right now.
I mean, I feel like they sort of are, right? Are they like the bottom two?
Yeah,
They are.
I mean,
like, Draymond played 20 minutes the other night against Sacramento. Like,
and he was like 1 for 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think Waters should ever touch the floor, but I'm going to exclude him. I mean, Javonte Green and Semi Ojeleye, they really bring nothing to us but energy. And if we're going to talk about energy, I'd rather see Carson Edwards and Grant Williams than those two. Edwards just pushes the pace, and it sucks that Pritchard's an energy guy. He's 5'11". Waters is an energy guy. He's 5'11". It's like, can we get someone over 6 feet to be an energy guy for us and push the pace? So let's look into the future a little bit, boys. We don't want to keep this too long. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Come on.
For the record, I actually really like Javonte Green. I kind of disagree with that point a little bit, Vic. I think he always looks pretty good out there. It's an energy thing, like you said, but I don't know. As a bench guy, I would like him on the team.
Javonte's getting 17 minutes a game this year. Like,
he's
more.
Him
And Semi are higher than Rob.
That's a problem.
So that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 3 games left on this brutal stretch of games. We got the Suns tomorrow for matinee. We got the Jazz, who has the best record in the NBA. And then we have the Raptors, who is killing it. Guys, 3 games out of the last 7. We're 2-2. Are we going to finish these 7 games over 500? Can we go 2-1 in these next 3 games?
I don't know. Toronto's looking good.
Yeah, I'll answer first. I think we beat the Suns tomorrow. I think we're a mismatch for them. Kemba Walker is more athletic, in better shape than Chris Paul. Jalen's most likely going to play. He's better than Booker. Tatum better than Bridges. Ayton will be a little bit of a battle for us. But I think we end up being a better team than the Suns. I think we win that one. We're going to lose to the Jazz. We're outsized when it comes to Mitchell versus Walker. We're outsized when it comes to Rudy Gobert versus Tice, Thompson, whatever. I think we're going to lose to Jazz. And then we're going to beat the Raptors pretty handedly. I mean, the Raptors have had some hot streaks from different players, but they're not a very good team. I mean, they're playing well right now. I don't care.
Last night.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. In a game which Kevin Durant was forced to come off the bench because of COVID protocols, played 15 minutes, and then got kicked out of the game again. I mean, the NBA screwing up this whole COVID thing. That's for another discussion. But I have us going 2-1. We're going to lose to the Jazz. The Jazz are very good. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a little differently. I say we go 1-2 during this stretch, but we lose to the Suns and Raptors and beat the Jazz. I think Tatum likes playing, other young superstars. So I think him and Donovan Mitchell are going to have a little back and forth that game, and I think we come out on top. But I think the Suns with Chris Paul is going to tear us apart. Ayton's going to have a big game, and the Raptors are playing out of their mind right now. And the Raptors are a very good team. Like they were a very good team last year without Kawhi. I think they're starting to show people again who they are. A little people forgot because of their slow start, but watch out for the Raptors.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle and Joe.
I'm going to go 2-1. I have it a little bit differently than Luke. I agree. The Raptors are watching. I know they were missing Durant, and like you said, the whole thing was a mess. But watching the Raptors last night, man, Lowry's playing great. Van Vliet is going off. I think Siakam is still a bum, but the Raptors are white hot, dude. I said in the chat last night, the Raptors scare me. I think they're beating the Suns, and I think they're beating the Jazz, and I think they're going to drop to the Raptors. Also, Jaylen Brown and Donovan Mitchell are boys, so they look for Jaylen to have a good game against the Jazz.
Cool.
I think we go 1-2. I think we lose. I think we beat the Suns. No, sorry. I think we beat the Raptors, but we lose to the Suns and the Jazz.
Cool. So right now, guys, we're 11-9. We're in 4th place in the East. We're 3.5 games out of 1st place. What are your predictions for our seeding? So we have the Sixers, Bucks, Nets, Celtics, Pacers, Hawks, Raptors, Hornets. And, I mean, besides the Wizards and Pistons, pretty much everyone is in the mix. Where do you see our standings at the end of the season? Where are we going to be seeded?
I think 12-9, right? Did you say 11-9?
Yeah, we're 12-9.
Don't forget
12-9, sorry. Google hasn't updated. My bad.
That's all right. Well, sorry, what was the question at the end of the
at the end of the season, where are we going to be seeded?
Oh, that's tough because the whole NBA is like jumbled right now. It's like a few top-heavy teams, and then everyone else is like around 500. They're what, the
I'll
four
go.
seed?
I'll go. What
Four
Kyle
seed?
thinks.
Yeah,
We're gonna be the 5th or 6th seed.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you have
Toronto's gonna get
76ers.
They're playing a lot better.
Sixers, Bucks, Nets. One or all of those three teams are gonna make a move before the trade deadline. Sixers might get another shooter. We have JJ Redick rumors. There's Drummond rumors for the Nets, which would completely upturn the East and make the Nets like a perennial superpower. And the Pacers have a very good team. And the Raptors are on the rise. Even the Hornets are in the mix. It's and the Hawks. The Hawks are like underperforming in my opinion right now. So yeah, we could be 5th, 6th seed, even 7th, but definitely middle of the line right now unless we make a move.
So Joe saying 5th or 6th. Kyle, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree. If they make a move, they go get Harrison Barnes. I'm going to say like a 3 seed, but if not, I'm going to say probably a 5 seed.
So I'm going to say we're going to stick right where we are. We're going to be the 4 seed. And the reason why we're not going to dip is because we are showing that we do have better depth than we thought. So the only way that we can stay onto this 4th seed is on Brad Stevens. And I'm telling you right now that if he continues to coach the way he is, I will be petitioning outside of his house to get him fired because he has potential on this team to make it work. It's on him to make it work or not. It really is. I mean, Danny should still make a trade, but I think we've shown Grant's had moments, Semi's had moments, Pritchard and Carson Edwards. I mean, there's enough potential there that we should be a 4 seed or better. It's all on Brad Stevens.
Fig, the good thing is we can take the carpool lane if you do that because I'll be in that car with you.
Good point. So let me ask you guys one more question. Through 20 games or 21 games, current MVP of the Celtics?
Ooh, we have to say Pritchard, right?
MVP.
Yeah.
Most valuable player.
Yeah, I'm going Pritchard, man.
I respect that. I'm gonna go. Man, Jalen's leap this year has been ridiculous. Like I think we're almost Tatum is so good. I think we're almost forgetting how Jalen has just like somehow gotten astronomically better. But I think I have to go Tatum because watching him last night, man, like he could score whenever he wanted to score last night. Like it's
Jaylen Brown, man.
Yeah, but Jalen is so efficient, but I don't know. They're very similar, but I just think Tatum is more of like a lethal shooter. Like he gets going, like he might.
Jalen has taken a leap every single year he's been in the league. Like he has been,
He's a man too.
He has taken leaps. Like Tatum has improved, but Jalen has taken leaps every single year.
Yeah, and I mean we looked at the stats. So I think Tatum's averaging like 27 now and Jalen 26. I mean, guys, we have the duo of the future. It's so exciting to watch. I'm going to say Tatum, and only because Jalen's offense is increasing, but his rebounds and assists are going down, and his defense isn't as dynamic as it used to be, so he's focusing a lot more on his offense, which I'm not sure if that's hurting us or helping us yet. It's hard to really examine that. So we got 3 big games ahead of us, Suns tomorrow. Guys, unless you have anything else, that's all I wanted to talk about today.
I got one last point. Jaylen Brown, his rookie year, 78 games, only 6 points a game. He's at 26 now. Just, 5 seasons later? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Leaps. Yeah. Like I said, leaps.
He's not leaping. He's jumping over the whole staircase, dude.
I mean, they're both guaranteed all-stars. Neither one of them will start the game, but they're both guaranteed all-stars. Tatum gets his second one. Jalen gets his first. Congrats to those guys. Let's make sure that gets locked up. Make sure you guys go and vote. Vote for our boys. Guys, this is Tummy Points episode 5, I think. Make sure you guys listen to Chasing Rings. Kyle, Luke, Joe, myself, Victor. We are out. Appreciate you guys.
Peace.